So this week I've been reading Skullsworn by Staveley. The book is a prequel in the Unhewn Chronicles series, if you've heard of it. Very interesting book. Excellent storyline. So the author has taken a secondary character from his original series and given them a backstory and given them an entire novel. Completely worth it, okay? Completely worth it. Very rare when it happens. So this is the story of how Pire becomes the priestess of Anandshare, who is the god of death, which basically says that she becomes a badass killer, kick-ass assassin, heavy on the sass. Now, in order to become the priestess of death, she actually has to complete a series of tasks that have been set for her. 7 tasks basically in 14 days. And those 7 tasks are she's supposed to kill off 7 people. The key death in this entire thing, the crux of this entire book actually, is that she's supposed to kill somebody she loves. That final offering of death turns her into the priestess. Problem is, our darling girl has never fallen in love before. Her unusual attitude towards death and love is explored in this entirely complex, enjoyable, but yet very grim story. So the entire storyline is her trying to figure out how to fall in love in 14 days and also realize that maybe when she does fall in love, that person's life is over. It's fate. It's the end of it all. It is predetermined that she's already the priestess in the original trilogy, so this isn't exactly going to surprise you in any manner that she's going to become the priestess. What is going to surprise maybe is the actual ending of the story. As an author, I would say that Staveley writes some really good secondary characters. I fell in love with the last set, and now again, here, I have fallen in love with the secondary characters. Hey, not surprised. They're really well written. The book does drop some interesting philosophy and perspectives on actual love and death and everyday situations and how we actually should maybe perceive it differently. And that's my favorite part of this book. All in all, this was a very good return to the interesting world of the Unhewn Chronicles, and I was very happy to go there again, and hopefully you'll be interested in reading this book someday. So that's all from me for now. I will see you next week when I will have finished reading. Alright, I'm reading Given to the Sea, which is a YA novel. It was a suggestion and I'm taking it up. See you next week then.
Nacho, WanderingTeaLover. Last week I finished The Devourers by Indra Das. So, where do I begin? Disclaimer first. I have noticed that when I'm outside India, anything I read or watch about India or based in India, I am deeply affected. So, I'd say take the emotions that come with this review with a pinch of salt. Having told you that, I want to say I loved it. I was up till 4 a.m. immersed in this gripping tale about these ancient beings like our protagonist was. Our protagonist, Professor Alok, meets a strange but charismatic man at a music festival in Calcutta. The man tells him he's a werewolf and shows him a vision of another time and another place. Being appropriately skeptical, the professor believes that this vision was a result of the trance of music, or drugs maybe. But time changes his mind. The stranger gives him a handwritten manuscript to type out, and the manuscript tells him an incredible story of these ancient beings in Mughal India. It also hints at a mysterious past and the journey from Europe to India. Usually books and TV series about werewolves and vampires show them involved in everyday petty squabbles, and I always felt that that was a bit unrealistic. So I especially love how he brings across the timelessness and immortality of these ancient beings, spanning from 13th century to 2017 in 500 odd pages. It had a very interview with the vampire-esque feeling about it, and the book is self-sustaining and doesn't really need a sequel, though I would really love it if he writes one. I can't end the review without a shout out to Calcutta. The main story is set in Calcutta, and I have spent a lot of time in that city, from eating Maggie at roadside stalls at godforsaken hours in the night to walking the Prinsep Ghat at Hooghly River during twilight to having the best lunch in Peter Cat. All of these places were mentioned in the book, and I had a very visually rich experience, even more than usual. Next week, I'll be reading Romulus Buckle and the City of Founders by Richard Ellis Preston Jr. I don't know why I always look for authors with such difficult names. It's not a new book, but I was in the library and it caught my eye. I've been trying for a while to get into steampunk, and this seems a gooder place to start as any. I'll see you next week.